This is a video for all the people that comment, wow, look where you started to where you are now. Man, girl, you live in such a big motherfucking house. Bitches, I can remember being 11 years old and sitting on the couch with my mom and watching a TV show and saying, I might want that one day in my house. It was like a nice gazebo-y backyard area. And I was like, I might want that one day in my house. And my mom said, bitch, you ain't never gonna have a house like that. What the fuck you think? You the motherfucking Queen of Sheba over here? You gonna live in a nice motherfucking house. Bitch, you crazy. You gonna end up just like me, living on welfare. We gonna be in the projects together. We gonna get our food stamps together. You gonna have a bunch of motherfucking Chileans running around here. What you fucking thinking you gonna live in a house like that? And I turned to her and I said, no, Mom. One day I will live in a big house. And I'll have a husband and kids that love me and respect me. And nobody will ever be hungry. I always knew, even as a young kid, that I was not going to end up like my mom. My mom had set me up to be just like her. And it is really hard to explain how layered the manipulations and the thought process that my mom had and how embedded into my brain it was that I be just like her no matter what. I fought every day and still fight to this day to not be anything like her. And it was hard. It was not easy. It still is not easy. I still every day struggle with the voice in my head that's like, bitch, you ain't gotta do them motherfucking dishes right now. Shit. The dishes ain't going no motherfucking where. Why you gonna do them now? Girl, go watch some TV and then come back and do them in a couple hours. Why the fuck does it matter? I still fight that voice every day, all day. So one day, a man came to my group home to speak to us. And it was inspirational and motivational, and that man was my hero for a very long time. But then, some stuff happened, and he wasn't my hero no more. But we just gonna pretend like none of that stuff happened, because at this point in my life, none of that stuff had happened. So John Edward comes to my house, to my group home, and he speaks to us, and he says, my daddy was a pig farmer, and his daddy was a pig farmer before him, and his daddy before him was a pig farmer. But I didn't want to be a pig farmer. Ain't nothing wrong with pig farming. I just don't want to be a pig farmer. So I decided I wasn't going to be a pig farmer, and I went into politics. And I swear to y'all, just like that, my brain was like, wait, bitch, I don't have to be just like my mama. I have a choice in this. Wait, what? Why has no one informed me of this? Because, like, why the fuck is my mom going to be like, yeah, you got free choice up in here? No. I tell people my mama ran a momocracy. So after 1991, circa, John Edwards was done with his speech, I went up and I said, hey, I really like what you said. It really resonated with me. Would you have any other advice or anything that you would want to help? What would help me most going forward? And he said, stay humble, hustle hard, and be kind. And I swear to God, y'all, that was like the motherfucking gospel for me. And so I did those things. And in doing those things, I met my husband, who just happens to come from a very nice family, who are members of the Carmel Country Club, and live in a house even bigger than this one. That did not hurt my chances of not ending up like my mom, just to be honest. Like, I ain't trying to front for y'all. I'm only here because he's got the money to buy this house. If it was up to me, I'd be in a double wide and just as happy. Here's the truth. Because I spent most of my life really consciously focusing on being humble and kind, which I still do to this day, anyone that watches my channel will tell you, I really enjoy being humble and kind. That's just who I am. So I was working and I met my husband, and had I not consciously spent so much of my life being humble and kind, my husband would have never even seen me. But that's what made me shine in a room full of other people. For him, he'll tell you the story now. He'll say, we were in a room full of people, and I swear to God, I had never in my life met anyone as humble and kind as this woman. And I just knew that that is how I want my children to be, and that is who I want the mother of my children to be. But here's the thing. Had I not gotten that from John Edwards, I would have never learned it, and I would have never met my husband. He wouldn't have seen me. Now, here's the real truth, y'all. My husband grew up real rich, around real rich, materialistic, basic bitches. Okay. When he met me on our first date, he's like, where you want to go? You want to go to like Red Lobster? You want to go to like, Olive Garden? Where you want to go? And I was like, you got that new Spyro, right? And he was like, you mean the video game? And I was like, yeah. You mentioned that something. You mentioned that. You got the new Spyro, right? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, then I want to go somewhere fast, like McDonald's, because I want to play Spyro, bitch. And he was like, so like, you don't want to go to a fancy restaurant? And I was like, no, why would I want to go to a fancy restaurant? What the fuck? What? Why would I want to do that? He had never been with a girl that wasn't like, yes, I want to go to the fanciest restaurant and I want you to wine me and dine me. No, bitch, I really just wanted to play some fucking Spyro. If this didn't work out, my willingness to go to McDonald's, my husband being the honorable man that he could, was like, he was like, I cannot take you to McDonald's for a first date. I cannot. So we ended up going to Ruby Tuesdays off of Independence, and then we ended up going back to his place and playing Spyro for like 3.5 hours, and it was like the best first date I ever had. And then we ended up like hanging out and doing more video game stuff. And like he would play Resident Evil, and Resident Evil is a one-player game. So he would play Resident Evil, and I would read the little guide, and I would write down, like, because I bullet journal, I would write down lists of, like, how the recipes and the herbs and stuff. So he wouldn't even have to go into the menu. I would just be like, oh, you just need one green herb and then one blue herb. Yeah, I would do it. So, like, almost our whole courtship revolved around video games. And then when we got married, we bought a GameCube for our honeymoon, and we spent about 85% of our honeymoon playing Mario Party. It was purple, and I still have that GameCube to this day. Still have it, still play it, still works. Just like my marriage. If you ask my husband today when he knew that he wanted to marry me and he knew that he was in love with me, it's literally the exact same moment that I knew that I wanted to marry him and that I was in love with him. We were on our third date. We were driving. Someone hit a cat with their car and didn't stop, so we stopped. I was like, pull over, and he did. And he pulled into the side of the road and blocked traffic. And I sat there in the street and I held that cat and I cried and I cried and I cried. And that cat died. And I went to go bury the cat, and then I realized that the cat had kittens. And him and me looked for those kittens for 2 hours. 2 hours. And at no point did he ever say, this is stupid, you don't know that cat, let's go. And that's when I knew that I loved that man, because he understood how much I needed to try to find those kittens. And if you ask him, he'll say, I knew that I loved her in that moment because she cared so much for these animals that she did not even know. I knew that she would be a great mom, and I knew that she would be a caring wife. So that is when we